Hey guys, my morning brief video real quick here. So some things I'm looking at here. First of all, you've got you're hovering right above the monthly pivot. So we are the third trading day into the month and we are holding right above our monthly pivot. So that's slightly bullish on the monthly time frame, but we just cannot seem to break out and get a breakaway move away from that. So keep that in mind. That is a little bit positive here. But I don't want to get overly excited here. And then we are also on a, where's it at? The monthly pivot, the weekly pivot. Any other time it'd be real easy for me to see it. 1 second. Okay, I had to zoom in here. Right here. See the June, September, October support? That's your weekly pivot this week. So keep that in mind. This is a major support area that we bounced off of Tuesday and Wednesday so far. And that is our weekly pivot for the week. So, that on a pivot basis, we are looking better for the markets. But then if I also go over to a different view here, which one do I want to use here? Let's use this one here. Maximize sales. This is my center of gravity studies. So we have a negative divergence based on my center of gravity studies. So that is my bearish case going into this week, that since we have a news event, see major news events happening this week, if I bring my Slack up. And so basically today, 8 o'clock or 8:30, we got the initial jobless claims, continuing claims. Then we have your market services PMIs and your U.S. composite PMI. So you have PMI data. This PMI, in my opinion, is the by far most forward-looking economic indicators that you get. This gives you an idea of the rate of inflation looking forward. So, you would think after Powell in his talks yesterday with a quarter basis points uh, uh, announcement yesterday in front of Congress, that the PMI is going to come right in line today. So if our PMIs are really hot after his testimony yesterday, that suggests that he was told to not accelerate the rate increases because of what's going on with Russia. So, and the markets are not going to react very well to that likely. So, just let you know. So, 9:45, you really don't want to do anything until that data comes out, in my opinion. Okay. And then 10 o'clock, you got a lot of industrial data, uh, you know, uh, durable good orders, factory orders, a lot of fundamental order data that's going to be hitting the tape. And so definitely it's going to have a major impact for your Dow Jones today. So Dow Jones is likely to have a lot of information that's going on. And we do have a Federal Reserve person uh, at 6 p.m. That's after markets close today. But that's really important, some of the stuff happening today on the economic calendar as well. But as far as the economic calendar goes, this is the most important day of the week. Well, let me reiterate. You do have non-farm payrolls tomorrow. That's really important too. So, but PMIs, in my opinion, is the most forward-looking indicator. It's probably the most important uh, indicator for this week, in my opinion. Some things I'm looking at this morning on the Qs. We are above our monthly pivot, holding right above it. We're right above our uh, weekly pivot. Okay, on the daily here, so I can show you where the quarter is real quick here. But we're well below our quarterly pivot. So basically, we got a mixed bag going on right here, right now. Going on right now. So I definitely want to point that out. And then we have another thing I want to point out here down here on my moving averages. I alerted this on prior videos. We have a confirmed, okay, death cross on our tech this week. So this is the starting the first of the month, and we have a confirmed death cross on our tech this week. So definitely keep this one on watch going forward. I don't know. We may rally. I just don't know. Bottom line is, I'd say the reaction to the PMI data is going to be crucial today. So heads up on that. Hopefully the PMI comes in sync today. We'll see with what Powell did in the press conference yesterday. So definitely important to know that. And then there was something else I wanted to show you about here. That's another one. We are getting a negative divergence. Here we are. So basically, this typically happens. What happens when we go into major news events, or at least that's been happening for the past couple of weeks. They've been coming in, bidding at the price in some sort of news event, and then selling off right afterwards. I don't know if that's the case, and we've been seeing that with these negative divergences going into the news, and then they sell it back down. I don't know if today's going to be a repeat of the same old, but I'm leaning to the bearish side right here, right now, earlier this morning. So, you know, and of course, I'm not going to be doing anything until after 9:45 today, period, anyway. And the negative divergence is this is really warning me some troubles here on the IWM, the Russell. The Russell really, we'll see what happens today, but the Russell's actually giving me a little bit more concern than what I'm actually seeing in some of the other indices. So I definitely want to point that out. And so basically, if you go down here on the is it 1 hour, I think, yeah, 2 hour maybe, 2 hour, yeah, okay. So bottom line is, I'm just keeping a really close eye on my IWM here. If any of these are likely to fail today, especially if we come in just in line with our PMIs, which I don't think there's any chance in heck we're going to. I think Powell was told to understate the rate increases because of all the turmoil happening geopolitically. And actually, I think our PMI is going to be extremely hot, but I don't know until 9:45, so I'm waiting. If it's extremely hot, the PMIs are extremely hot, it's probably going to be supportive of the Russell today. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Uh, but it's going to be bad for tech. So some little ideas I wanted to float there. So to make it really quick here, bottom line is we are above all of our major pivots on our UVXY quarter, monthly, and they are in sync. So the uptrend is still solid in that regard. But on the daily time frame, remember, UVXY this thing is designed to go to zero. That's why the chart looks so bearish. But given the current market climate, doesn't it make a lot of sense that we're going to come up here and tag that $22 200-day moving average on the UVXY this week? I mean, I'm just floating that idea. We haven't tagged it yet, but I pulled this up and I saw where that 200 was relative to where we're at. And it really sent there thinking, man, that just could very well be a possibility this week. So I did want to float that idea. The trend is still intact, solid. It's a solid uptrend here on the EVXY. So I just want to keep that idea, on the bearish side if that were to be the case. So I do want to float the idea. Semis are down this morning a little bit. So we're getting a little bit of profit taking here on our semis. We are still above our weekly pivot, but below our monthly pivot. So this is on a monthly time frame. See, that's not good. We're just 3 days into the month. We're already bearish on the monthly. And I don't like seeing that. Here we are, semis, and we're not even trying to get it back above our monthly pivot to even start the month. Not what I consider an overly bullish sign here. Another one getting volume this morning. That's your Lucid selling off this morning. This one here was an earnings play. Billy up just a tad, but man, that is really disappointing on what little they are up. Okay, really disappointing on that. BP down again. BP is really going to be taking it on the chin here. I think we're coming down to the $27 on BP as more and more the news of the write downs are coming into play here with the whole write downs because they had a big investment in Russia. They're in the process of trying to write down. SoFi had earnings yesterday, and they're bringing down a little bit more post those earnings. So we had a really nice run up, and they gave it all back yesterday on SoFi. Intel's busy active this morning. So the big move up on the whole State of the Union, really taking a hit this morning. They're taking it all back this morning on that post. This is all pre-market action here. So all that big run up, and now they're taking it all back from that State of the Union stuff that happened yesterday. So snow's really getting hit this morning. Yep, it's really taking it on the chin here. So that's one of your top losers today. Had earnings this morning. Tesla's down this morning. Not too bad, but it is down just ever so slightly. 72, 73. It's actually not showing it on this chart. Let me change charts real quick. And so we are ever so slightly lower here on our Tesla. Rivian had earnings. So don't know what the time frame was on that. Let me double check. I have to put it on the daily. Make sure I got the right time. Rivian hasn't reported yet. I'm sorry. So Rivian is catching a big sell-off this morning as well. These are some lighter volumes down there, and then Pelotar's already reported, and yeah, it's down a little bit, ever so slightly this morning too, as well on early morning volumes here. But obviously the volumes are still fairly light this morning. It's a wait and see game for all the data coming out this morning. So I know I'm making the bearish case, and there's a lot of other little things I was looking, which I'm not going into the finer details on my video. But everything about my bearish case still seems to be valid. Uh, and so, be careful. And we even heard it from Jim Cramer last night, and he didn't come out and say it, but he was strongly implying that we were in trouble. And another little tidbit I do want to float out there. One second here. Let me get it. Okay, I'm actually going to show the Dixie here real quick, but all the money moving into U.S. equities because of the global turmoil, that has really help, in my opinion, really helped support U.S. equities because of the really strong dollar right now because of what's going on there. But I do want to point out the uh, global or the U.S. Financial Condition Index. This week is the first time it's turned bearish since November of 2020. So just keep that in the back of your mind. What's going on with these commodities? I mean, they are just on fire. These commodities. And if I pull up my futures watch list real quick here, if I can find it real quick, and you can see, and we'll get her. Where's the mark at? Mark, boom, boom. Okay, wheat. Look at this wheat, guys. I mean, wheat is just absolutely parabolic on our wheat here. You have to go out on a monthly time frame now. Are they getting crazy about this? Maybe. But look at this wheat move here. This is March, guys. This is your March candle. We've only had 3 days in March, and look what's happened to wheat here. Okay? I mean, this is unreal what's going on here in some of these commodities. Then you have heating oil. You have crude oil. I mean, we've got 3 days in March. Look at this on crude oil. That's your mini crude oil. Oh, where's CL at? CL. Ah, there it is right below it. And you see that move? That's 3 days, people. 3 days of trading. We're the third day of the month. This is unbelievable, these moves that we're seeing on a monthly time frame in these commodities. And heating oil's doing it. And I mean, hopefully, I mean, this is major disruption in the markets. If you're raising people's energy costs like this, if this is sustainable of any type, way, shape, or form, it's going to have a devastating impact on consumer discretionary income. Just be aware of that. So, like the video if you like it, and please retweet me if you can. Please leave comments below and everywhere you can. Give me some feedbacks of stuff you're seeing that I'm not seeing. And but I really think this commodity thing is something we got to really keep a close eye on going forward here. And so I'm actually thinking, because of this massive move here, I'm looking for a short in crude oil. I know that's completely contrary to what everybody's thinking, but man, that is just unparalleled. I'm thinking we could probably come back down to 104 this week. To close the week out, we could be back down to 104 here on crude. So I call that a crazy idea, but I'm just floating that idea for everybody to digest. And that would help the bearish case for IWM if the PMIs actually come in and below, right in line. That would be another bearish thing for the PMIs because the quarter basis point raise is not good for the banks. The banks are up over 100% since Biden got in. You cannot, they have priced in a 50 basis point move, and there could be some carnage in the banking system because of that. Okay, thanks a lot.